Welcome everybody to Simulation Talk 354. What up, Guru? Thank you so much for always being on top of it, brother. I appreciate you. Let's start our group, our chat on Discord. Here we go. Discord is coming up. Wonderful. Great. Discord stage is open. Welcome everyone. Wait for a couple more people to show up so we can start. How are you, Guru? How are you doing tonight? Renato Travisan, welcome to the chat. Maverick Star is always here. Welcome from India. Golden Crystal, welcome. Okay, so we can, I think, gently start. Today was a very long, productive day. I hope you guys also had something of a sort. Data all, we'll do it now. While you slowly pouring in, how are you, Lumicore? Good to see you. If you guys want to follow on Twitch, it's LaserX83 on Twitch. Come and help our channel grow. And just want to remind everybody, I'm encouraging more free flow, human experience based kind of conversations. So any question you might have, let's frame it in terms of your personal experience. What it's like to be you. Why do you care about the particular topic you're asking about? That kind of stuff. How are you, Terry? Good to see you. How are you feeling, by the way? Are you healing? Scat Williams, how are you? Always miss your live streams, but now being in Discord, I immediately got the notifications, so that's awesome. That's great. You're not getting the notifications on YouTube, even if you're activating the notification. That's an important thing for me to know. Is that the case? That's not cool. King 888, just relax. How are you guys? Oh, Power Off is in the house. I'm glad to hear you're better, Terry. Thank you so much for the gifts and thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate you guys. Much appreciated. Welcome to the chat, everybody. Not getting them every day, or unless I will re-click on notifications. Weird. I think I have too many YouTube subscriptions or something, so I don't get all the notifications. That is such a mishap by YouTube. If people sign up for channels and their notifications, they have to notify them, no? Thank you, Purple Haze. I appreciate the gift. Thank you for the rose. Off topic, Mavericks are saying, just saw the post from the upcoming Spielberg movie, apparently named Disclosure. Next year will be fun for UFO lovers. Sounds like it, yeah. I think it's already pretty fun. Thank you so much for the gifts. Again, much appreciated. Those are fun. I've never seen these before. These are kind of like likes. This is so cool. That's awesome. Okay. Well, I'm glad at least you're getting the notification, Scant Williams here. I apologize if you get these questions. This question is a lot, but do we have an ETA on the Discovery dock? Very excited to see it. Yeah, that's a great question. We are at the final stages of production. We have a couple more things to kind of tie down, and Aaron, the director, Aaron Vanden, is working nonstop. He's such a G. My head goes off. Wait, how does it go? My head goes off to him. Whatever the phrase is, I'm deeply grateful and also very impressed by his talent. And also, there's a lot of other people involved, including Chris Paris, was our producer, and also is a G on his own right, and is also an editor in the film. Bottom line, we are tying a few final things, and now working officially on distribution. And again, this is a good call to everybody. Like, we are, we were funded, but still, like, it always takes a little bit more. So if you guys feel inclined to donate more for the production of the film, any donation is received with gratitude. You can just, the known trailer on my channel, go to Dengo Thoughts, find the Discovery, the trailer, and there's a GoFundMe page there where you can donate for the production. Any donation actually helps us to complete the film faster. Do I do guides? What do you mean by that, Nova? I'm following your story. What is the name of your movie? The movie is called The Discovery. It will be coming out most likely somewhere around March, April, I would hope, but we'll see. Yeah, about 3-4 months for the first year. That's what we're kind of aiming to do. But again, distribution is a difficult game, Thank you for asking. So, and again, if you guys are not following, go follow Dango Thoughts on YouTube and help us our Twitch channel grow by following on LaserX83. Can we say that? Yeah. Okay. We will. Yeah, we will deliver. The movies will be amazing. The movie's not out yet. They're just somebody who's just joining. And I'm not sure what you mean, Nova, but what do you mean by do I do guides? Oh, you mean am I guiding experiences? No, not usually. I am doing a retreat. It's going to be on February 28th. It's going to be Costa Rica. So if you guys are interested in that, feel free to email me to dangoprox, DANGOPROX @gmail.com. dangoprox @gmail.com. If anybody's interested in the retreat, I can send you some information. Let me know. February 28th. What up, Mr. Collusion? Are you continuing to discover new things through your studies? Well, actual research always takes time. So the truth is that it's very difficult to do. We're doing a lot on a regular basis, but the real progress is going to start happening, I think, when we're going to have like an organized place where we're doing this, which we're working on. But until that moment comes, we keep working. So far, we have a few things that we think we're kind of honing in on something useful. But usually things in science take a very long time, and this topic also has a spotlight on it. So because there's a spotlight on it, it seems like things are not moving, but the truth is that usually research takes years before you find anything out. And only then people declare. And of course, that's our own doing. I'm the one that made it public. And this is maybe to Andrew Galmore's point of papers before movies. I think that there was a need for this kind of be streamlined that way. But part of it, and this is the weight that we have to absorb, is that now people have expectations. And that's okay. Maybe we'll be able to deliver even something very interesting very soon. So we're very open about the process, and we're doing our best. And you can always check veilbreak.ai, where you can find people's experiments, and you can share your own anonymously if you would like. You don't actually have to oh wow, I completely forgot about. Hold on. Let me do this. I am forgetting a lot of things. Anybody has brain power pills? Whatever they may be. Okay. Okay. And just adding one more thing. Wonderful. Okay. Now we have the complete list. Okay, so now that there's enough people here, let's maybe dive into something interesting. Bob Lazar, maybe start saying Bob Lazar documentary is also done with distribution. Have you seen the trailer yet? No, this is a new one, right? I have not seen it yet. No. Seawell82 joined us. How are you? I will be doing the experiment myself for the first time within probably the next month or two. Can't wait to see it. I've been telling so many people about it that haven't heard about it. Thank you for letting everybody know. Also, Scat is saying, I know that you have said that you are able to see the code on different substances, and I happen to have a ton of particular other well documented substances in the code more clear. Is the core code more clear on specifically the molecule, or is it the same on other things as well? I would say it's the same, but you can see it clear on the molecule because I think it just has the most oomph, the most fuel, so to speak. What up, Rick Talk? Ramon, welcome all the new people joining. And again, if you want to help our Twitch grow, go to LaserX83 on Twitch and follow from there. Nico, how are you, my brother?
Hey, how's it going?
Going amazing. How was your day?
All right. I got a new phone, a new iPhone, and I gotta say, I think I heard you and many people criticize Apple Intelligence, and I thought it was bad, but man, it feels useless.
Which Apple Intelligence? The one that kind of like the where they use ChatGPT in the instead of Siri, basically.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's a ChatGPT wrapper. It's not even like I thought it was gonna be more integrated, but it just like opens ChatGPT sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's just the way it's probably per their agreement or something. I think that they can do a lot better.
Yeah, but it's such a non-Apple, like it's just so much friction. It doesn't feel like Apple. You know what I mean? I'm just like, what?
I'll be honest with you. Most of Apple stopped feeling like Apple. It's like even the new phone, like the design. You look at the design, you're like, that's not a $3,000 phone. That's crazy. Like that's what? That's like it's like it looks so like you can do simple and beautiful. This is just simple and ugly. Like there's not. It's a literally Steve Jobs would just like go nuts if he would see this. It's just I don't know what they're doing, but it's not what Apple used to be. Thank you so much, Kate. Much appreciated. Do you have input on this?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, Tim Cook took Apple from 300 billion to, 3 trillion. So like there is this, he did scale the company and it's really hard to scale quality, but it's just I agree with you. Like it doesn't feel like the same kind of like Apple, it feels like it's and I understand what you mean about the design. It's very like brutalist or very like utilitarian, right? Like it's just big and bulky.
It's not a 2025
But
$3,000 phone.
yeah.
Yeah, this is there's I always forget his name, but there's a few of them. There's this guy. He's one of the biggest tech um, YouTube channels that kind of do reviews. Not what's his face? Not the American guy, the British guy, the Indian British guy. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know a British guy.
Yeah. Anyway, so he always shows these like crazy phones from all over the world. I'm like, dude, we live in a tiny bubble. Like the amount of types of phones that there are and like how amazing they are, it's just kind of crazy. I'll find some of these videos and I'll send it to you. And it's like just we live in scarcity, basically. Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, all of it just yeah. I mean, I like it is getting better in terms of the smoothness of it, but especially because they grew to what they are. And by the way, I don't even know enough about why, like, what was the main growth, like, through what? Through sales? Through
I think
what?
it's just the volume through like the amount of iPhones they sold, and I mean, I'm bought into the ecosystem completely, so I can't imagine leaving Apple because
Hmm.
like my laptop, my cell phone,
Yeah.
my headphone, like I'm too bought in. So I don't want to leave because everything is so integrated and smooth.
Yeah, and yet still sometimes
Um,
AirDrop
so but
doesn't send one picture, which is crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's fine. I mean, first world problems, right? I wish, I wish that would be our issues in life.
yeah,
Yeah. But it is interesting how it's no longer like the whole point of design and all that stuff. That's definitely not what it's about anymore. I think I told you this before, but like I had this experience years ago, like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, where I got some Apple product from Target, but it was official Apple. Like it was an actual Apple product. Um and I opened it and I forget what it was. Maybe keyboard? I don't remember what it was. But when I opened the box, I could see the brown part of the cardboard. And I was like, dude, that's crazy. I was like, what? Apple, it's supposed to be like pristine opening. It's like,
yeah. Like you're supposed to keep the box.
yeah, you're supposed to frame the box because it's so pretty. It's like, oh, there you go.
You know
Tell me
what?
something.
I saw that Meta released these new glasses, and I was watching reviews on that, and that feels like like what you described as the console, but just in real,
Yeah.
like in reality,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels. It's really just a lot more pretty, obviously, the console. But in ways that we can't even, think about because it's like they have like the perfect design. And also somebody said Samsung here. Is it not true that Samsung just passed them in terms of sales?
Maybe, yeah. I would believe that they're not like in the world. They're not like Apple's not the
Did
leading market share, but
Samsung pass Apple?
I think, like you said, like we're just in a bubble. You know, like I'm in the
Yep.
super American tech bubble.
In terms of global smartphone shipments, Samsung has recently surpassed Apple in 2024, regaining the top spot of market share. However, it is a highly competitive market, and some reports suggest Apple is poised to take back the lead in 2025. We are in the end of 2025, driven by strong iPhone sales. Two companies also coexist as Samsung. Let me find that guy. Tech review YouTube channel. Oi. Yeah, there he is. Arun Maini. Arun Maini. You know who that is? This guy? I'll find him on YouTube and
No,
all.
I'll check them out though.
Yeah. He's fun. So this is the guy. This is the channel. Hold on, I'll just share it here. And you can just find any one where he reviews phones. I don't know if he's the biggest in the world, but he's definitely one of the top 2 or 3 in terms of the channel, like tech review channels. He's a lot of fun. Okay, so just one more reminder again, if you guys want to help our Twitch grow, go to LaserX83 on Twitch, and let's focus on some questions that have to do with your personal experience. I appreciate how you guys are doing it so far. So if you're asking me a question, let's frame it in terms of who you are, why you care, because it makes it more interesting, right? We get more information about, aside from just like, what do you think about X? Tell me a little bit about yourself, why you care about this, and that will make the conversation more lively. And also, I want to encourage more conversations about the human experience, what it's like to be us. Why do we have it this way and not any other way? Can we make it better? What should we do to make it better? How do we treat each other? How do we treat the world? How do we treat world events? How do we process information? All of these things, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Oh, we have a lot of comments here. Okay. CWell82 saying, has there been any translations of the code yet? Even phrases that repeat. Say I'm looking at a wall and see the code. Is it basic 3D model structure or does it peer into center of my soul as I look at it? Somebody joined on Twitch. I appreciate you. Maybe impossible, but I have you figured out. Have you figured out what any of it means? Great question, but again, I think that actually the language, the digits themselves, they're a secondary story. if even a story. I'll be honest with you. So like, I actually think that they might. Yeah, you want to go up? No. Come on, go on. Good girl. There we go. Cosmo, you have no room there right now. The two dogs competing on the couch. This is Xena. And then Cosmo is looking at her. Cosmo. Shh. Down. 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 Place. Go to place. Hold on, I gotta put it in place. Cosmo, come. Place. Down. Boy. You were not wrong, Miko. Can't take the chaos out of the agent of chaos. Hilarious. No, but he's a lot better. Your dog is barking too. So I actually think that the important part is not the language or the digits. I actually think that what's important is the structure. What are we looking at? That's the important question. It's not about deciphering anything. These questions are premature, might not even be relevant ever, because we don't know that it's a language. So deciphering what exactly? So in order to decipher something, you need to understand what it's talking about. In the case of human languages, you have the hint that it's humans talking about things. In this case, we don't know the first thing about what we're looking at. So anything that has to do with decoding and all of these questions, they are secondary at best, irrelevant at worst. It's not that kind of a question. What we should be asking is about the structure itself. What are we looking at? Why is it operating in the way that it does? What is its stability rules? Like, what are the laws under which it's operating? Can we, perturb it in some way? Those are the important questions. To me, it seems pretty obvious that those should be the leading questions. Anything that has to do with deciphering, all that stuff, I feel like it's that to me feels more like science fiction than doing science in this stage of the game. I have a very strong faith that humanity will be unable to destroy itself because alien intervention would prevent that from happening. It actively keeps me from spiraling with anxiety about the state of society. Thoughts? Yeah, I think there's a good good argument to be made that the civilization that is simulating this space would at least put some guardrails against complete destruction. On the other hand, we don't really know, and it might be that it's just kind of like all up for grabs, and what we make of it is what it is. But I do feel that there's some wisdom that is pumping through the veins of reality. Let's just put it that way. So I am much more of a, I'm much more optimistic about it, and I think that you, Cosmo. Oh, they're going crazy because they want to go outside. He's policing my other dog. It's hilarious. So I'm much more optimistic. And I think you're right in your assessment. Cosmo's looking good. Yeah, Cosmo is looking good. He grew to be a really beautiful dog. So is Xena. Did you ever have you seen the documentary called Capturing the Light? The Dorothy Izett story? It's very interesting. Capturing the Light. Capturing the Light. I don't think so. Documentary. What happened, baby? No, I have not seen it. What is it about? Ghost, how you doing, buddy? Brother, how are you? Oh, Nico jumped off somehow. Disappeared on us. No, he just needs to poop. That's what's going on. Welcome everybody on TikTok. Feel free to ask questions on TikTok as well, by the way. Put him in place. Oh, she's in his place. What's up, Jet Black? What up, Gary? How are you?
Good. Thank you for the welcome.
Yeah, always, man.
A little bit under the weather, though. Feeling a little bit sick.
Oh, man.
Not say too much today.
No worries, man. What do you have? What are you having?
I have no idea. Just not feeling right.
I'm telling you, everybody. I mean, obviously, consult your doctor. I'm not, this is not like an advertisement or anything. But seriously, especially if, like, everybody should at least look into it, and then talk to your doctor, obviously, to make sure that it's all good. But look into methylene blue. Like, it's I haven't gotten sick once since I've been taking it for years now, for 2 years now. It's crazy. Like, it's just
What is it?
methylene blue.
Methylene blue?
Yeah. I think TikTok once banned us for, like, there you go, for saying it too many times, because I think it's like advertisement thing. But I'll text it to you. So everybody should, first of all, this is recorded. So if you are on YouTube and you're not sure what we just said, go back for a second and just see what we said. We're not gonna repeat it again. But I'll text it to you what it is. Chase Hughes told me about it. Well, it's not true. A lot of people told me about it before, and it just sounded too good to be true. And then when I met Chase, he told me he's using it, and he said that's the thing that basically cured his, or made his seizures go away, and he swears by it. So I was like, he's like, yeah, he's like, he's a that thing that we're not gonna say again, freak. So he uses it for basically everything, and I started using it, and then dialed in the amount. And first of all, it gives you great energy throughout the day, and it basically is anti-inflammatory, anti-social. I wanted to say, antibacterial, antifungal, anti-parasitic. It's just crazy. Like, it's just like you don't get sick. Like, it's just bananas. So, anyways, highly recommend to try it, or at least talk to your doctor and see what they recommend. But definitely something to look into. Oh, I can put it here. Yeah, because it's on Discord. I can definitely put it, because I remember we were talking about it one too many times, and then it literally just look for this, and there's a bunch of brands. The one I'm using is this. I'll put it in Discord, so anybody can go to Discord and see it now. But again, definitely consult your doctor. There you go. This is this is the one. Oh, he's crazy. There you go. That's the one. But definitely do your research, because you got to dial in the dosage and everything. But it's as close to a miracle as you're gonna find. Okay, I'll put it here if you guys want to check it out. On YouTube, I put it as well. Oh, somebody just said, "I am God." That's awesome. And the handle is Galactical Ambassador. Wait a second. But if you're Galactical Ambassador, how can you be God? You should be Universal Ambassador. Galactical Ambassador, that's spare change, man, in comparison to God. Come on. Is there operator? Is a simulation governed by intelligence or collection or emergent process? It is automated, obviously. There's error correction processes embedded in it, but of course it's obviously automated. This is just one of very large number of simulations. So they're all automated based on what I've discerned so far, the shoreline of the Mandelbrot set. But of course you're going to automate them. Why would you? Why? In like, think about it. Why in the world would you build a simulation you have to constantly tend to? That's crazy. Christopher is asking what the code look like. Come join our Discord, Christopher. Search for Code of Reality or COR on Discord. Come join our Discord. And there's some renditions of artists there. People share this information all the time. So you can ask for it. And also, you can actually go to veilbreak.ai. Veilbreak. Here, I'll put it on YouTube as well. And you can see people's posts, and some people actually draw them. So there you go. Have you seen the documentary? Oh, we saw this. What do I think of Joseph Campbell? Mostly right. Don't know why he's limiting his ideas to Earth. That's my summation. Uh, a woman that was able to capture entities in some kind of an old camera. Interesting. Okay. Documentary is interesting because it's almost like she's able to capture beings from another dimension on camera that nobody else seems to be able to. Sounds interesting, but my skeptical mind is very strong when I'm going to these things because there's so many different explanations there. It's your doctor you're afraid of? Maybe you should change doctors. Loading to this, what could be purpose function of the simulation, and is it uniform for all beings, personalized each observer? Yes, personalized for each observer. Purpose seems to be calculating kind of the ultimate question or the ultimate answer. Getting over sickness, well, I'm glad to hear. Thank you, Guru, for notifying everybody. Yeah, Shilajit was also good, but I'm just telling you from experience, nothing works as well as this. Like, just there's nothing that even comes close. Are all consciousnesses the same? The I-ness of it, I would say, is the same, but the different perspectives are definitely not the same, and there's a reason for that. And I'm actually not on board with the whole "it's all just one." Like, I don't. I think it's an empty statement to me. Because obviously the differences matter. Like the fact that consciousness is fractured in the way that it does for a reason. Can someone send an update Discord? Yeah, it should be updated, but I can put a new one. The supplement, I'll say it one more time, but I put it in the chat. Methylene blue. That's the last time I'm saying it. Just because TikTok is being weird about repeating certain things. Okay. What if I am my own doctor and pharmacist? Nice. That's funny because I made that joke to myself. I happen to be my own primary caregiver. Well, that's not a bad thing. Very much I'm pretend I'm not. Funny. You wanted the new link? Okay, let me share a new link. Shares, invites. There you go. Create invite link. Do we have an expert on Discord here? Why does Discord constantly changing the invite links? Like, it's just so annoying. There you go. That's the new link, and I'll put it in the main. It's like almost every small period you have to like.
I'm kind of an expert on Discord.
So please explain this to me. Like, what are they? What is their deal?
So at least last I checked, there's two kinds of invites. There's the temporary one, which the link expires after a certain amount of time, and then there's a more permanent one.
So how do I find the permanent one?
Yeah, actually haven't had to generate an invite link in ages.
There you go.
Just make sure it works the same.
Yeah. So right now I just did at least updated another one on YouTube, so you can go to YouTube, the main links on the main page, and you should find the new link. If the sim, only level 9, saying if the sim is personalized to each observer, doesn't that lead to solipsistic theories? Do you believe other people do not actually exist, are part of the simulation? Good question. No, so from what I saw, we all exist in our own sandboxes, but the mainframe does inform, and what I'm seeing as you in my simulation are avatars, but the mainframe does inform my simulation as to what what the real you would most likely would do if you would be in that situation. So it is somewhat accurate to what would happen, right? And if you enter this stage of openness that we call love, like universal love, then the system recognizes that it's like a safe channel. And the more you step into that, the more, if I'm interacting with you, with your avatar, and you interact with my avatar in your world, if we're both entering that stage and we're both emanating that frequency, then we can both be basically moved automatically to a safe joined sandbox. So now we're actually interacting with one another, like the real you, the real me. That's the best I can summarize that. Ebony is in the house. Yeah. Always be skeptical. What up, Gabriel? Do you know Brad of Arc, his team on here? I know them, but it does not mean that I sign off on everything they're saying. I know Brad. I don't know who you're referring to as his team, but Brad I know. What do I think of NPCs? Well, again, according to what I just told you, like everybody are NPCs in your world until you and or them enter this channel of universal love. So it wouldn't be wrong if I say the simulation, wait, it jumped on me, exists to find the meaning of life, the meaning of existence. Yes. Good to see you, Ebony. What universal consciousness? I'm still confused about this. Universal consciousness? What is universal consciousness? Oh, well, it's just the one all-pervasive consciousness that actually exists everywhere, which is this basically everything. And all the agents. So look, if you look up Bernardo Kastrup, you get a really good vision of the idealistic perspective that I very much align with. I appreciate you, Purple Haze. Purple Haze. Yeah, I just, I can follow what I can follow. The rest I can't really follow. And ultimately, the way to always go about, to my mind, the best way to go about things is to always test things that needs to withstand the test of time. If over time you see results from either what somebody else is telling you, or just like there's things that appearing in the world that weren't there before, as a result of what they're doing, then obviously there's merit there. That's your clear. But if it's not happening, then it's not happening, and it is what it is. I do like me some Kastrup. That's very funny. Have I been to Mount Shasta? The location? No, I've actually never been. Why do you ask? Didn't Kastrup recently start a new project to create a computer chip for AI? Yeah, I think he dove back into some technical work, even though I think he wanted to retire. Philosophy teaches that the simulation comes from the materialistic left hemisphere's comprehending a fractal existence, with the right hemisphere comprehension of thought develops. This statement is a little obscure for me. Also, what philosophy exactly? What up, Evil Icon? Good to see you. Okay. So we'll take a few more questions here. Just reminding everybody if you want. Oh, thank you so much, Ghost. In case you didn't figure it out, it's in the Discord settings where you generate invite links. Yeah, I know, but those are not permanent. That's what I'm saying. So, like, if I go to server settings, invites, right, and say create invite link, then I have all of these like personal ones, but then I have or send a stage invite link to a friend. So, like, there's the general one, right? And it's every time I generate one, it's not permanent. It always expires after a few days. Oh, there you go. It even says right here. Yeah, 20. Oh, it says 24. I never even seen this. It says 24 hours. Crazy. So what? I mean, how do I edit this? Oh, there's one says Miles 3 days. I'm confused. Edit invite link. Oh, there you go. It says, oh my God, expire after 1 day. Is there never? Oh, there you go. Expires after never. There you go. No limit. Boom. Generate a new link. Now it's permanent. Thank you, God. And thank you, Ghost. Okay, Discord. Boom. Now it's going to be permanent. Okay, guys, we figured it out. Thank you, Ghost. There you go. If you go to YouTube now, I'm going to put it in the chat right now, but also it's going to be from now on YouTube. There you go. And let me also add it in the link tree. Oh, yeah. There you go. Gonna do it live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live, I tell you. I think it's supposed to be this. Man, I don't remember. What is what? Oh. Oh. There you go. Woohoo! I think we have it. I think we have it. I think I got it. Discord. Wait, how do I change it? I want to. Sorry, guys. Everybody, sorry. I just want to get it over with so people don't get upset anymore about it being. There you go. Core Discord server. Yeah. Okay. Where do I add the link? YouTube core. Man. Why is it not allowing me to add a link? What? That's crazy. Okay, so has expired. Update TikTok. Okay. Update TikTok. These things are. So maybe if I cancel this one, right? Discord server. Wait, what? Oh, here it is. Okay, ready? I guess I can archive. And then how do I add a link? There you go. Discord. Everybody are so pissed right now. But at least it's going to be, you know, link settings. There you go. Done. Beautiful. I think it's there. Now Discord is the first thing. So on TikTok, so you can find the Discord on there. Anywho, this was fun for everybody, I'm sure. This is somebody who's just joining. What is this? Just a guy editing his links.
Use this Discord tutorial.
Exactly. That's amazing. It's just that you know how it is. Like you jump off and then there's a million things and then you forget. And it's like, I prefer to like annoy everybody for 5 minutes and now everybody can just join Discord. Now, I think you can now go on TikTok. Actually, TikTok should test this and tell me. If you're on TikTok right now and you want to join our Discord, go to our link tree that you see in the description of my page and tell me if the link tree, the link to Discord works. Let me know. There you go. Should be there. Yeah, it should be active now. Great. So that's settled. Thanks, man. This is you definitely pointed me in the right direction. I just never noticed because it's like so tiny and it says like edit and it just looks insignificant. What up, Jackie? Should work. Clicked in indirectly. Ebony, you're talking about the one on TikTok? And also, actually, let me put it here. Core main new Discord link. Let's put it 2026. Boom. Money. Discord. Through the lens of an NPC, here's existence being studied from a perspective of consciousness, information mathematics, or something that transcends categorization. Well, no, an NPC would not have an internal experience at all. That's the whole point of it. Isn't simulation a compilation of Hilbert spaces that is a fractal existence? So simulation and fractals, they're not like they're orthogonal. They're not dependent on one another. You can have a simulation of anything. You can simulate anything. So what is simulated is the question in the idea of the simulation. How it's executed exactly, that will be the question about whether it's built as a fractal, it's built as a world on world on world model. And by the way, not everything is fractals. There's definitely fractals throughout nature, and I happen to think that yes, there is a fractal component to how nature operates because it's just more efficient too. So like I from what I've been shown is that it kind of these worlds evolve according to the Mandelbrot set shorelines. I'm not sure why specifically Mandelbrot set. Maybe there's some unique stability to it. I'm not really sure. But what's interesting is that what happens through the different levels when bifurcation happens, right, is not the result of communication inside of it. It's the result of the logic of the equations that give rise to the fractal itself. So if something happens across all the levels all at once, it's not like there's some communication happening between them. Is that what this shape is? The functions that happen within it, any dynamics that is unfolding in it, is unfolding throughout the layers because of what it is. It's literally the result of that. It's almost like saying, Cosmo, what are you eating? Hold on. Jesus, he's going nuts. It's impossible to proof the house against Cosmo. So it's almost like asking, how do all the angles in a triangle know that they have to be what they have to be in order to complete to 180 degrees? There's no communication happening between the angles. It's what a triangle is that. It's that all its angles are like because of what the shape is, right? That's true of only triangles on a flat plane, obviously. But you get the picture. Like there's no communication happening. If you want to call communication, it's just like when you're changing either the length of one of the sides of the triangle or the angle of the size of the one of the angles. Then if you want it to stay a triangle, the other angles just have to be this other thing to complete the picture for still being a triangle. So it's just the result of what a triangle is. That's what I mean by that. In the same way, in a fractal, you have certain things that just have to be that way for it to stay that fractal. So if you have any operation that you're running through it, if you have any, some quantum Turing machine that is running through the its computation through the fractal, then you would have this execution through the levels that just happens all at once because of what it is. You don't need communication. So in that sense, it would make sense to build infinite worlds through a fractal. I don't know if this answers your questions, but first link, yep. First link in the link. Yeah. Does it work? The link tree is in the, if you go to my page on TikTok, thank you for participating, by the way. Just click on the link, click on the link tree. Clink is a fun word. Jason, Horhani, and you together on a podcast. Yeah, that can be fun. I don't know if you do this short sort of thing, but would you care to talk on the Discord live with me? You can come on Discord now. If you join our Discord now, you'll we have a stage open for you. So if you want, just come on Discord and raise your hand, and I'll bring you up. Yay! Everybody come join Discord. But I think that's me. I can't hear sound on there. On Discord? Everybody can hear sound on Discord or no? Is it okay? Or nobody can hear me?
I can hear you.
Yay! Disneyland. I very much am, but yeah, we've read this before. Wait, I've always questioned everything in life and what was taught to me since 4th grade. That's impressive. Lucid dream experience I've had have convinced me that psychedelic substances are meant to be obsolete. The most powerful experience of my life was completely sober sleep experience. It was 10 times more profound than my most profound experiences on substances. We have lost the ability to naturally move through the dimensions or never had it. That's another option. Oh, you couldn't hear me before? Something was happening? Okay. Yeah, but you know, this is an open question. I'm not sure if we lost it or just now evolving it, and you might be one of the first people to experience it actually. So also, I don't quite understand the point, Scat. So like, what? So this argument just doesn't run through on the logical side, because what you're saying, and feel free to clarify, of course. But what you said is, in lucid dream experiences I have had have convinced me that psychedelic substances are meant to be obsolete. But then you said this is on the basis of the fact that you had a much more powerful experience in the lucid dreaming state than any psychedelics. But does that mean, by that logic, that anything that is more powerful makes everything that is less powerful obsolete? Is that the logic there? Doesn't really make any sense. There we go. Yeah, I'm bringing you up, Mr. Mehroons. I just sent you an invite, so feel free to jump on.
You know, sorry to interrupt. I was just gonna say that sounds a lot like a problem of not having the right substance or not taking enough.
Yeah.
Transmeccan, I was like,
yeah,
it's not working. Take more.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll be honest, and this is a genuine question. I am not. This is not like a thing that tries to, you know, this is not a one-upsmanship kind of question. But have you done like heavy doses of DMT? Have you ever done that? Oh yeah, of course, open for vocal conversations. Feel free to come on. I'll send you an invite if you want. You can jump on. What's up, Mr. Mehroons? How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, it's Danny, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Mr. Mehroons. It's like
Mehroons.
from the Elder Scrolls, Mehrunes Dagon.
Oh, okay. That's my dyslexia at this hour. Apologies.
No, hey, I just started listening to you. Just found you a couple of weeks ago.
Cool.
I was super interested, obviously, in your laser experiments
Mm-hmm.
because of the the scientific aspect of it. Like
Mhm.
it's so difficult to document all of this shit, without there's not been a way to do that so far. So that's why I'm so interested in it. But,
Well, I think there's So for the first thing to say before you continue is that I think
yeah,
it's true that it would be difficult to satisfy the hardest of skeptics because they would require to jump over a bar that we currently can't clear as a civilization. Like they would require something along the lines of a super advanced Neuralink that can just project your thoughts onto a screen to be convinced. Which I get it. That's fine. I might have been requiring that if I've never seen it myself. But to say that there's no way to talk about it, I think when I started seeing the code and started seeing that all the other people that started seeing the code, I realized that we made a little bit too much fuss from this idea that we're just these like babbling morons that just can't say anything of value unless I don't know. Like it's just nonsense to me. It's like if you see honest and well-intentioned people trying to actually get at a problem and trying to really discern, you can, people like Andres Gomez, who was just on my podcast, like they're serious researchers, and hey, they rely on a very limited ability of each human to perceive very fallibly. But in the aggregate, if you have enough people that are well-intentioned and really trying to get at the truth versus just kind of like being deluded, I think you can get quite a bit of data that way. Like you can just like look at each other and go, "Wait, do you think you see this?" Is like, I think so, and then you can talk about it in like honest ways. Like you can see if somebody's just being all, just like bamboozled by the experience, or somebody who's like trying to still be calculated and rigorous and all of the things that you would expect in science just with their direct experience. I think there can be a lot that can be done this way until we have things like super advanced Neuralinks that can just project your thoughts onto a screen.
no, yeah, I completely agree. I wanted to run a couple things by you. I mean, I'm pretty much coming at this from a layman's perspective,
Sure.
and also pretty much a theological one.
Okay.
Just to be upfront.
Sure.
So I'm wondering about the simulation. Like, do you feel that it's actually generated by some kind of computation, like a
I know for a fact
sense that we understand them?
I'm saying something very radical, and I don't shy away from the statement, from the thing I'm putting forth. I know for a fact we are being simulated by a higher civilization.
Mm.
But the other side of your question, which is it kind of like in the same way that we know computation? That I have no idea, and I think it would be silly to guess. Like I've kind of been shown that it is the case after a very long process of kind of becoming warmer and warmer with this idea, and then there's a very long conversation to be had about why I'm convinced of this. And also the other part, which is, the internet now lives on snippets. So I already know that one day somebody will take this snippet and just say, there you go. You just said, that you're absolutely convinced. And therefore it means you're immovable in your conviction. That I never said.
Yeah.
See, there's a big difference. So even I think that knowledge or knowing something is just a state of conviction when you clear the certain threshold of amount of information and data points for yourself. You don't.
Absolutely, yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah,
I would not accuse you of that.
Yeah,
just so
yeah, but I also want to be clear on that for everybody else, that I am always open for revision. However, you gotta have to act according to some conviction. This is currently the conviction I'm acting out of. And if new information presents itself, for example, like, because there's all kinds of things that can happen, right? It can be the case that whomever showed me this very clearly wasn't truthful. It's and for whatever reason, right? So if there's any evidence for this kind of stuff, I'll change my mind. But currently, I'm willing to have the conversation to the finest details of why my conviction what it is. But yeah, I am at this point am of the state of mind that I kind of like, I know that as much as I know that I am conscious. Like that's how strongly I know it. So and it's a weird state to occupy, I'll be honest.
Well, I understand that. I completely do, and I don't think you're crazy for that because exactly what you're saying, like believing anything is sort of crazy. I mean, you have to rely on so many subjective experiences and non-scientific evidences, right, to believe really anything. So I hear where you're coming from on that. I was wondering, in terms of like a higher power, do you feel like this civilization is that higher power that so many people seem to sense within the world, or do you think that they are, I guess, created by a higher power greater than them?
Great question. The latter.
Okay.
They are. You can
still don't really know, or do you? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like those, since they are created, do you have an idea what that is? Like, what's your personal view on that?
There was one vision that I spoke about a few times on the chat, and people now really want me to create a whole video about it. It's just like a very heavy lifting video because it would require certain convictions to be clarified because it's a very big claim. But I have been shown something under the title, "This is how things are." So for all intents and purposes, for me, I was kind of shown what the hierarchy is. And it's a long conversation, but the short version of it is the ones that are simulating the physical environments of the kind that is like ours. And when I say physical environments, I don't mean Earth, I mean the universe itself, right? So they simulate the entire universe, in fact, number of these universes, and they're tending to its physical composition and fidelity. So like air correction, all that kind of stuff. You can think of them as the management company. They're contractors that basically tend to these environments, but it emanates, the structure, the architecture emanates from a way, way, way higher level. So what we would consider kind of like gods, like actual gods, they are of a different kind of a thing. Much closer, actually, surprisingly to me, to something more biblical than something that we would consider more in modern spirituality. So kind of this, and just to outline the difference, in modern spirituality, the idea or the sets of ideas that exist are much closer to some form of unification of which we are also a part of. So kind of like what you are is essentially God manifest. You're just like a low level of God becoming itself. In the biblical version, that is not the case. You are not God. God is a completely separate entity. You will never be God. And even thinking that you're it is actually blasphemy, right? That's a very different kind of image of the world, right?
Yeah, you're definitely right. That is the biblical case for God.
And I was surprised to learn, at least from that vision, that it seems to be more that case than what we believe kind of like in the modern world, where like we're just becoming it, right? We can become a lot more, and we are made out of some properties that obviously the ultimate being also has, but then everything does, obviously, because it made everything, right? So, and what I saw is that basically the ultimate being is outside, and it sounds, I realize the more I'm saying this, that it might be a little annoying to hear this, because it's almost like I'm saying a thing, but then I'm taking away the saying at the same time. And it's almost like I said nothing, right? But take it for what it is. And that's the best way I can express it, which is that whatever that is, your internal operational perception cannot actually grasp it sufficiently to even point to it when you think you're referring to it. So I'll clarify. Maybe it was understood, but to anybody who would,
I mean, that's Thomas Aquinas right there. I mean, that's what he said.
Which is what specifically?
That even scripture itself is unutterable. Like it's ineffable, right? So we're only talking about metaphors when we're talking about even scriptural subjects, but especially God itself, right?
Yeah. And I guess maybe it is. I never even thought of that. And maybe this is just my mind overcomplicating it. You might be absolutely right. I did not know that that Aquinas said this, but basically the ineffable part it would be a word that would fit for sure. But I guess what I'm trying to do is to clarify so people have at least some internal representation as to how deep the confusion is. And the way I'm kind of thinking about this is when you're saying a word, right? When I'm saying let's think of something specific. I don't know. Somebody famous. Let's think. I don't know. Jon Stewart or some other comedian, or I don't know. Pick your famous person. Doesn't matter. If I'm saying I'm thinking of that person, right? When I'm saying that person, there's some internal representation in me that matches that, right? There's some image inside of me, either visual or something, to which I'm referring when I'm saying the word or the name or whatever, right? And this applies to every single thing that we say, including just abstract concepts, right? But there's something we're tracking in our heads or in our being when we're saying these things. What I'm trying to say is that when people even say, "Oh, I know, I feel it," like they're referring to the God that they believe in, and kind of like there's a vector pointing in some particular direction. It seems to me, it seems to be the case that it will always still be your local bubble that you're pointing to, because from the vantage point of where you're pointing, it is literally impossible for your inner representation to point in that direction. That's how far that thing is from your perception. So it would not be kind of like what we imagine the biblical God to be, but it would definitely be the kind of thing that the biblical God is, and maybe even beyond what we currently are capable of imagining what that might be. And this is what I meant by it might be an annoying statement. It's like kind of like I said something and then I'm taking it away at the same time. But yeah, that's the best.
No, and that makes sense. It's just that we can't conceive of that concept or even the concept of that concept, right? Like we're so far removed. So
Yeah.
do you think that the, let's say the ultimate power, right? It put us here for like a reason, or like what's going on with that?
And also somebody just pointed, Golden Crystal said, when you name me, you limit me. Something along those lines, maybe even more than that. Maybe when you represent me in any form, in your perception even, you limit me. That would be like a more accurate representation.
Yeah. Well, that's like, sorry, not to but that's like C.S. Lewis. He always said that like people praying are usually they're just praying to the crucifix in the corner instead of like actually trying to conceive of what God might be. You know,
like a direct connection, exactly. Yeah, or some yeah, exactly. Yeah. The answer to that seems to be, again, I I'm always very careful with the kind of like how much certainty I'm expressing it with, because I know that the way that I speak is very kind of like there's like a lot of conviction in what I'm saying, so this can rub people the wrong way. So don't take this as gospel, obviously. But from my deduction so far is the ultimate being is basically playing two main games, two main strategies according to the situation that it's in. So if you're the infinite being that can do anything, and you're the only thing, then it's ultimate loneliness and ultimate nothing matteredness. Because if you can do anything, then nothing matters, literally. Like nothing, there's no stakes, there's no, like, it's just like you're forever and that's the end of that. Like, and there's no one else, right? Yeah. And some people...
So do you think that the God is bound then in some way? Is he operating under some kind of law or like constraint?
That's a really good question. That is the ultimate kind of, can the God lift a rock that it itself cannot lift, right?
Yeah, I thought that's what you were moving towards.
No, so I wasn't because I think that's just like, it's okay. You can cut me off as much as you want. This is how I like to have it. But the reason I don't go there is because it's unsolvable, definitely not to our minds. Yes. So it's kind of like, we can guess forever, but who knows, right? What I can say is that the thing that did make sense, and I kind of saw something along those lines, which is that if you are in this situation, so the first thing is to know, like, the short answer to your question, I think yes. I think God is still evolving. So like, and again, for people to think it's like, how can it be if it's the perfect being? It's like, well, what I basically saw is that perfection, if it in fact is perfection by the definition of what that is, because if you think of what perfect means, it means that there's not one misrepresentation as it relates to the definition of the thing. So the reason the perfect spheres don't exist is because there's no perfect shapes. This is why kind of like the Platonic space is what is imagined to have like contain the perfect shapes. Because when you're trying to represent shapes in physicality, there's always going to be, depending on the scale that you're zooming into, there's always going to be some imperfections. It's not perfect. It's because it's not the perfect thing under the definition of what it is. The perfect sphere would be such a thing that basically contains all the points of every single point around itself. It would be perfectly aligned with the point right across from it, and it would have like a perfect smoothness, right? There would be all these qualities, but all related to what a sphere is, right? So in the case of a sphere, you would have basically, it would be perfectly balanced in all the qualities and properties that a sphere has, correct? So it would be perfectly round, perfectly smooth, perfectly aligned from all different directions, perfect, right?
Right.
If you're talking about the perfect being or the perfect object, the perfect that encapsulates the everything, then by definition, what you're talking about is a thing that contains all of its own negations, because it is the everything perfect, which means it contains all its own opposites, and therefore it cancels itself out, and therefore it does not occur. It cannot occur. There cannot be an occurrence within the domains of it if it is in fact perfect. So,
right, and it must be compared to something outside of itself if you're going to say the word perfect at all.
exactly.
The word perfect means nothing unless there's something that it can be related to.
Really, that's a really good. Yep.
So are you saying that are you arguing against that?
No.
You
So
said
that's
that
the
that is
beginning.
in fact
So that's
okay.
the first step. That's the first step in the idea. And then if you can accept that, then we say, okay, so what would it require to occur? It would have to have at least something missing. It would have to be almost perfect. So it basically it would need to be kind of like that game with the numbers, right? That you have to always have to have one number missing, otherwise you can't move all the other numbers, right? Nothing can occur because everything is already in place, right? So if for something to occur, you need something to be missing, some non-perfection that will allow everything else to move around, right? And from what I saw, that one thing that God is missing is knowing why. So God knows there's nothing beyond it. God knows it is infinite and all the things and can do anything and all of that stuff. But it does not know why. That's the one thing God doesn't know, which is allowing for some dynamic to occur. And so what I saw is that under that banner, what God has decided to play, the two infinite games that can possibly matter if you in that state. The one is the obvious one. Hey, can I find out? So how can I find out that one thing I can't possibly know, right? Can I utilize this infinite?
Okay, sorry, I won't jump ahead.
No,
you're saying basically that you think he or it created us basically to experiment. Like, is that pretty much what it is?
The ultimate game, trying to find out the one thing it can't know. It's the only thing that is interesting, right? So then it basically breaks itself into infinite pieces, which is a known kind of trope, right? Which is like, oh, we're all like just fractures of God's perception.
Sure.
And then maybe some of it is to maybe not remember, because it seems that is actually a soul crushing experience to just be alone forever, right? But then the other game is, can it also learn while it put itself into this temporary amnesia, while it's trying to collect the ultimate answer? Can it also play at the same time another game that allows it to practice how to just let go, how to just actually just be without the need to know anything. So when it does arrive at the end of time to this place where the answer is available, can it also have now the ability to choose to not know, even though it can? And the only reason that that choice would pack a punch is if the choice actually has consequences, because choices without consequences are not real choices, right? So what basically kind of this ultimate image that I saw is that Douglas Adams wasn't that far off. That actually there is this super ultra mega computer that is calculating the ultimate question. It's just not the Earth, it's the multiverse. And it is God poses the question, or the question for the question. What is the ultimate question? And because the second you know the ultimate question, the answer just kind of brings itself about. And then the multiverse is the answer collecting itself. But at the same time, there's this ability that is trying to evolve through, which is more kind of like an Eastern traditions kind of attitude, which is like, you know, monks that just sit in caves forever and just can just be without the need for anything. Because if you would think about it, that would be the ultimate superpower that God can hone if God is bound to never know, is can you just be, right? But the only way to truly know whether you are capable of letting go is only if you actually have the promise to know. Because if you can't know, then you don't really know if you actually let go of it, because you never had the real possibility to choose to know, because you couldn't. So the one thing that it was doing, the one thing it's doing is trying to learn to collect the ultimate question or the ultimate answer. So you can think of it like this: in the beginning was the word, at the end there's the choice, the ultimate choice. And then this is the true test, that because if you have this box in front of you where the ultimate question, answer, whatever it is, the ultimate thing is in there, so it's guaranteed to be true, which means that whatever is inside is true. You can choose to open it right now and you will know why. Why everything, literally. How can something come from nothing? How can infinity, all of these things, you just know, right? But if you, now the first thing to point out is that you don't know what it's like to know that. And what's more, the second you will know, you will be enclosed with that answer forever. So it's almost like,
won't want to, right?
well, you don't know. You don't know. It's the ultimate, the price is, not the price is right. It's the ultimate opening the curtains with either nothing or the car, winning the car, right? Like you really don't know. You don't know what's going to be in there. It might be a thing you really don't want to know. It might be a thing that you really want to know. You don't know. Is it worth it? But also maybe, just maybe, that the ultimate test is that choice itself, not even what's in it. And because that's the thing that transforms you. So
you think that the creator, I'll ask it.
Sure.
Do you think that the creator wants to know that, or is it a situation
it
where
doesn't know. It doesn't know until the moment comes.
avoiding it?
It doesn't know until the moment comes. That's the punchline, that you don't know until it happens. That ultimate choice can only be made in one moment in time. You can't know it in advance. It has to be done in real time, in the moment. And then if you open it, what you're guaranteed is that you locked in. It's almost like, do you choose knowledge but infinite loneliness? Or do you choose just being? It's just like being in a state of just acceptance and love and nirvana and whatever, right? So then that can only matter if you actually, somebody guaranteed that whatever you're choosing is real. Otherwise, it's not a real thing. It's just like, it's almost like saying, oh, I would totally say no to $1 million to do X. Well, guess what? Unless there's $1 million on the table, you don't really know. Because if there's $1 million on the table, now you really know if you're going to walk away or not, right? So you don't know until the promise of it is real. So that process is essentially like the journey of all the souls and all of that stuff, the experiences. In order for God to know anything, there has to be some unitary thing that isn't the all, because if you're the all, you're just the all. But in order to experience anything, you need separation. That's why the separation is happening. But then at the end, it all recombines, and any little piece of information that was brought back as part of the answer becomes part of the unified self. And then at the end, there's like this ultimate choice right in front of you. And that's essentially why it's all four, because it's building up to that infinite holy moment where there's the and I thought I kind of caught a glimmer of what potentially can be kind of the outcome of the knowing, but I don't really know. Obviously, no one does, and no one ever will until that final moment. But it seems to be the case. Like it would make sense to me that one of the things that can happen is that if the choice is to know, right? We would like to imagine the final choice is like this, like super, perfect, wholesome moment that cannot go wrong. But I think if that would be the case, it wouldn't really have the zest that it should to actually execute that moment, right? So we don't know.
Right.
But I think one of the things that can happen is that, well, in that zeptosecond, that God would know, if it chooses to know, it would become perfect. So therefore, in that instance of knowing everything, it would also cease to exist because it would become perfect. And therefore, it would retroactively cancel everything that has ever happened. So like it's almost like it would become never existed in past tense.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just like this ultimate mindfuck. And I honestly, when it was shown to me, like some of this, I took it originally in that moment to basically say, okay, now what? It's almost like, okay, now that you know this, well, now what? Like, just live your life. Like, don't worry about it. Like, just live your life. It's like,
that's the thing is, right, and these are huge concepts. I get that it's difficult to try and talk about. What in your opinion then does it matter for us? You know what I mean? Like, what would we be required to do with this information now, or what's the goal of life for you?
It surprisingly, these enormous concepts bring you closer to the simple things, because it's when you realize that it's that grand, there's a certain recoiling to normality that kind of happens as a result of it.
Because you want to experience these simple things that basically you were made to experience.
And
is that what you're saying?
and even exactly, you have to play your role. Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah, and you have to play, because if you're going to keep looking over the shoulder of the moment, you're not actually experiencing it for what the thing that God can actually derive meaning out of. So you're kind of wasting God's time, so to speak. So it's like the more you are fully locked in with your personal experience for exactly what it is, and you're deriving your own personal lessons and all that stuff, the more you're playing your role for the ultimate game. You are fulfilling your destiny of the ultimate destiny by actually living your life to the best of your ability, the way it appears to you to be. That because your unique perspective is its uniqueness is the value proposition for the greater good of all. Sure. Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, how are you, Scat? Sorry, I was looking on YouTube also at comments, so please go ahead, brother.
I did not want to interrupt you guys.
Not at all.
This conversation. It was great. I have to interject with it though. It sounds very funnily to me, very ironically and
funnily,
inspiringly so. That literally what you're saying
mm-hmm.
is that even God itself's meaning of life is that it is literally the journey, not the destination. That's all there is the journey. There is only the journey. There is no destination. It's just about being in the moment. It's just about going through whatever you're experiencing. And even God, apparently, because that's all that there is experience. I find that fascinating. Like, it makes a lot of sense.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
It's equally relieving and also infuriating at the same time.
Last thing I will say yeah, no, I completely hear you, dude. Last thing I will say, and then I'll get out of here. And what that means for us is that basically you can't know anything except by direct experience. Like we can philosophize and use our logic to deduce whatever philosophies we have come up with so far. But essentially, for every individual, it's like you have to experience, you have to know something by experience. That's what I'm getting out of that.
Yeah, connecting to the like all the annoying, almost shoved down your throat at this point Instagram posts about just being in the moment and all that stuff. It checks out. It's just like, but like if you can really do it though, because obviously if you're making a post about it, you're not in the moment, right? So it's like, it is one of the funniest things when people lecture you about wasting time on social media. It's kind of hilarious, but they were there to post the post. But I do think that it is a skill that when you start developing it, it is the thing that gives everything else the life that it deserves. And by the way, I'm not even of the exactly. All the pieces become the same. And honestly, I am absolutely not of the mind that a lot of people, even in my audience, have about kind of like this post-apocalyptic, like we're sleepwalking towards our own demise and all that stuff. I'm not of that mind at all. Like I actually think we're stepping into the next truly like incredible golden era. And if there's anything in the way, is actually these ideas about the end. So it will be an end of a sort of things that we're kind of familiar of how to do things on this level. But I am actually very optimistic about what's coming. And I actually think that, yeah, but what I'm saying is that I fully agree. And I think that even this whole, what's happening, with technology and all that stuff, it's actually part of that emergence. It is part of that. It's just that in order to get there without being tangled in the infinite web of confusion, we actually collectively have to be able to just detach, so to be much more non-attached to things, and also live through direct experience much more than through ideas. Because as you can see now, like this is like the thing that people are concerned about, right? Is like the fakeness of AI, and like you can now manufacture almost indistinguishable content from reality, and within a year it's going to be completely indistinguishable from reality. And then I saw this post today about somebody talking about, like, again, legitimate concern, right? Like there's all these tensions that are building in the world, in America and everywhere else, where the tensions are so high that in order to snap the tension, all you need is one fake video that is made very well. And then a lot of people, like en masse, would think that thing happened, and it would set them off when that thing never happened. So like, how do you tackle that? Right? So then, okay, well then the only way to do that is to come back to the sensation in the body, the present moment, all the things that we imagine to kind of be the more holistic. Yeah. And then that's the way to, in what way?
Sometimes I get frustrated with the way that the world seems to be going. But if you don't spend any time on the internet, you have no idea if it's proven that. If you're just in your own head, if you just deal with your own life, then none of it really matters, like, to you. And you probably, like, are you going to fix it? If you can't fix it, then you probably shouldn't worry about it. If you can't fix it,
I am in full agreement. I'm in full agreement with that. I always say it, and people always respond with, "Yeah, but what do you mean? Like you don't care about the world?" I'm like, "No, I care. I just like what you said. It's like, if yeah, it's not gonna fix it. So like, I just added another suffering being, which is myself now, because I'm now really worried about it, and now I can't do anything about it. So what good does that do? Like, if I can do something about it, great. But if not, then what is the point of that? If anything, I'm amplifying suffering."
Social media and everything has convinced people that, like, talking about, like, stating an opinion is like changing something, and it's not. You're just, everybody who has the same opinion as you is going to agree with you, and everybody who doesn't agree with you is going to argue with you. That's all that that's doing, really.
Exactly.
You're not going to change things by stating your brave opinion that you think is brave, but it's really just the same opinion that most people have most of the time. All you're gonna get is a pat on the back. So what are you actually gonna do? How are you actually going to be kind to people in your daily life? How are you actually going to help people, teach people, show people new things, have new experiences yourself? Because it's not necessarily all about. I think the first and foremost comes I and myself. I need to be aware. I need to be learning. I need to be experiencing things. But it is, I think, a little bit of it is showing other people. Sometimes people have never like thought about things, another way. And then you can say, hey, have you thought about it like this? And then you have another person that's thinking,
Yeah.
So the conversations are beautiful.
And I am seeing more like it used to.
Opinion doesn't seem to-
Yeah, and I used to see none of that, and now I see not a lot of that, but I do see some of that. Like I keep talking about what's his name? Kaizen, what's his last name? I forget. He's like this political commentator, right? And he's just the way that he analyzes information. It's just like it's so beautiful. Like it just super balanced. Here's all the things. Here's my own bias. Here's why that is. And it's like this is the human of the future. Like that's the only way to do things at scale that can scale. That's the only way. Because anything else is a complete recipe for disaster. Because if you can't have the conversation, especially when it's uncomfortable, how can you ever make plans to go to other planets or collaborate on a plan that will take 1,000 years to execute? How can you possibly go about any of that if you can't even trust the next election cycle or just what the people in the other camp of how you things should be done in the next month? Like if you can't even agree with that, and you like there's simply no future in which this can ever work. It's just not scalable. So yeah, I'm and by the way, because I know you came on to clarify some other point you made, so if you want to do that, go ahead.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Yes, I was about to mention that. Okay. So you asked, you and Mr. Maroons, I see you're still here.
Yep.
You also asked, have you been there? Have you done it? Have you had handcuffs? And my answer would be probably 700 micrograms LSD, a gram DMT. Just the other day, honestly, I don't know how much ketamine, but enough to have a spiritual experience. I believe I've almost experienced what people refer to as ego death. I got close one time on particularly LSD. But my point is, I have experienced all of that after the most intense, or not intense, but profound experience I ever had. And it was purely sober, seamless, close my eyes in a different dimension, like in the sleep dimension, whatever, fully conscious. And it's kind of a long story, but I don't want to take up too much airspace, but
so let me ask a couple of guiding questions to maybe clarify for us. So you said that it was more, right? Now I understand, and I have, I understand that language does fail when it comes to these things for sure. But if you have to try, what was it more of? Meaning, depth of perception, and just the presence of divinity. What was it more of when you had it naturally?
I think the only way to answer that question is to tell you what happened to me.
Okay.
And I'm happy to do so. It's been a long time since I've done so. I've given up talking to people about this because most people just don't. They don't care.
Yeah, because unless they can experience, I'll tell you. But I'll tell you why, and this might be a good guiding principle if you're telling us. One of the things that Andres Gomez spoke about in our conversation when he came on my podcast recently is that people are very keen to talk about the aboutness of these experiences, not realizing that the substance of the experience itself has nothing to do with the aboutness, has nothing to do with the content of the experience. The imprint was an emotional one that had to do with the pure meaning or the actual quality of experience itself. So there was something in the tapestry, in the way that it was executed, because he was saying like if I go to DMT space and I see clowns or jesters or dragons or whatever, and I go smoke salvia and I see dragons or jesters, those are completely different experiences. But I just said the same words though. So the substance of the experience that people would care about, and this is why most people don't care, is because they weren't there. So you're just saying words about content. So if you can maybe import some words about the quality of it, that might be more impactful than just kind of the content of what happened. Is that clear? Or is that too esoteric?
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Yes, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. So I will tell the story. I will shorten it as much because it tends to get a little wordy. But basically, when I was a child, I used to be scared of the dark. So whenever I got scared of the dark, whenever I thought that something could harm me, I would bite my cheek, and inadvertently, accidentally, it was intentional, but I gave myself a lucid dreaming trigger because I would tell myself if I'm in the dark and something is scary, then I bite my cheek, and if it hurts and I don't bite it through my cheek, then it's real life, nothing can hurt me. And if I'm in a dream, oh, it's a dream, nothing can hurt me, and I can do whatever I want. And I would do this all the time. Anytime I had a nightmare, I would bite my cheek, and I would realize I was dreaming, and then I would get a little Spider-Man or fly or whatever, like I was a child. So as a child, I knew about that. I knew about lucid dreaming, and I told so many people, and people don't lucid dream. It's not common at all. But ever since a child, like I grew up with this understanding that like, whoa, reality does not work the way that we think it does, because if you can teach yourself how to break yourself out of a dream, then you can literally visit like theoretically any real or
well that's not, I can tell you, so before you continue, I can tell you that's not true. So like, not that it's not possible, it's just not true that that's a given, because I definitely lucid dreamed in my life, but I never ever even remotely experienced something as what people describe to me as astral projection or any of that stuff. Like I've never even had like the yeah. No, that was it. I just wanted to say that you're saying that if you could break free from the dream, you could go anywhere. And I'm saying, to me, that's not a given, because I definitely broke free from the dream. But yeah.
Let me finish.
Sure.
That's just the first chapter.
Sure.
That is the first chapter. Skip ahead. We're skipping ahead. Okay, that I was doing that probably around like 10 years old. I'm 33 now, for the record. That was about 10 years old, roughly.
Okay.
Skip ahead to high school. And this happened in about it was probably 2009 or 2010. I was in high school. I was 17, 18. I think it was 17. And around that time, I had started to get into the idea of astral projection. And like, what is that? Like, it sounds like there's something there. I want to learn how to do it. And I remember all these lucid dreaming experiences as a child, right? So I'm like, definitely I can reach that state. I've done it. I used to do it as a child, but with an unfully formed brain, whatever you want to say. Like I was an adult, I didn't have all the experiences yet. So I wanted to astral project, and my plan was to make myself lucid dream again, because I had not done it in like 10 years. And so I tried really, really hard for several months. I was, dream journaling, writing everything down, researching all the time, thinking about it constantly. I wanted to lucid dream so I could be in a lucid dream and then ask to see what the astral plane was. That was my goal. I had a goal to lucid dream and, reach full consciousness in the dream and then ask to see the astral plane. That was my plan. So for months and months, like I don't know how many months, we'll say 4 for the sake of argument, or just clarity, simplicity, whatever. I tried really hard. I constantly focused on it. Could not make it happen. And during that time, I was doing drugs. I've had problems with drug use in my life. At that time, I was using. You're familiar with what spice is?
Mm-hmm.
K2. It's like fake weed stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar? Yes, I was doing that heavily at the time. I would go periods without it, but I was bad into that stuff. But particularly on this one particular night, I had not had any all day or the day before. No spice, could not get any. No, like it was a bummer. I was trying to get high, but I was watching King of the Hill, and I decided it was time to go to bed. And King of the Hill still on the TV. I got up into my bed and I laid down face down with my hands out, like on the pillow, face down on the bed. And as soon as I laid down and my face touched the pillow, I opened my eyes and I was standing up vertically against like an infinite brick wall in front of me. And this is no lapse of consciousness. I went from waking reality to blinking and being in a different place. And I turned around and there was this whole, it was like encased in clouds for the sake of, we can't understand what it looked like. Like it was this big cloud bubble, basically, like huge. And in front of me, there were several stations that were set up to do reality checks. Are you familiar with reality checks? Like pushing your finger through your hand, like looking at a clock.
Yeah, trying to turn on and off like a light switch. Yeah, like a light switch, right? There's all kinds of.
Yes, there was stuff like that. There was stuff like that directly in front of me. Reality checks to make sure that I was in this dream. And again, there was no lapse of confidence. I went from waking reality to here, and I'm looking at this stuff, and I start to get excited, right? And I'm like, I know I can't get excited because I'll work myself out of the dream. So I walk forward and I do a few of these reality checks, and every reality check that I do makes me even more conscious. Like I was like a little fuzzy at first, but it brought me even more conscious. And then in front of that was a set of 3 rooms that had typical lucid dream distractions in them. For anytime I would lose a dream, let's just say for the sake of clarity, we're all adults here. There, one of them was a sexual thing, like there was a sexual room that I could have gone in and abandoned my mission. And I had to actively avoid 3 of these rooms. I had to open the door and say, no, I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a reason. I want to see the astral plane. I had to deny these human desires, we'll say. And so then I walked away, and there was a big pyramid in the distance, and underneath that pyramid was a bunch of people. And I went over there, and I was like, I think I went a little less conscious at that time, because I was over there trying to convince all these people that I was dreaming, and this was not real. Now, I was like, oh, you're full of shit, man. This isn't a dream. You're crazy. Everybody was. I was like, all right, y'all are crazy. So I went and walked away. And then it was time for my goal. I realized, like, hey, I was going to ask the question. So I went by my own in this whole area, whatever it was. I can't remember, details, visual details. It doesn't matter. To be what happened and the impact it had on me is what is necessary, what I remember. I had heard that if you want to manifest something in a dream, in a lucid dream state, it makes it really easy. It makes it easier to manifest things whenever you spin around and ask, try to manifest while you're spinning. So I did. I started spinning around and just repeating over and over again. I want to see the astral plane. I want to see the astral plane. They bring me to the astral plane, whatever. Astral plane, astral plane. And I kept spinning, and when I stopped spinning, I lost, like, that scenario completely vanished. And what happened was, to my human brain now, like, I cannot comprehend, but I can tell you the depth of it was that I became what I believe to be not all of existence size, but like Earth size, maybe even galaxy size consciousness.
That's quite a difference, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point. But I'm not sure. I want to say Earth, not to be grandiose.
Sure.
We'll say Earth. Earth is big enough.
Yeah.
We'll say I became the consciousness of the entire Earth.
Sure.
It's fuzzy, I'm looking at this through my human brain.
No, I hear you. I follow. I understand the realism of this for you. Absolutely, I understand.
Yes, so I did not lose myself. I was aware, I was a consciousness that we'll say is at least earth-sized. And I knew and could see myself in there, but that's the only thing that I can remember. I just know that everything else was there in that ball while I was just a part of it. And it was literal. This is not, I didn't have this feeling. It was a literal thing that like my consciousness expanded to that point. And while I was that, whatever size consciousness that was, with myself inside of it, I was also an impartial me outside of it, literally holding it in my hands and viewing it while being it and being inside of it, like 3 different levels of consciousness. And that happened, like that went on until I woke up daylight, like it was like 8 hours later. I woke up on my back in my bed. You remember I said I started face down and like literally woke up face was standing, arms against a brick wall. I woke up like it was seamless consciousness from the time that I closed my eyes till the time that I opened my eyes on my back. And nothing ever since then. I've done acid like maybe once or twice before then, maybe acid once, shrooms a couple times. Nothing ever since that day. And that was, I was 17 at the time. I'm 33 now. My constant pursuit of an experience that profound has never produced anything that level of profound. It was entirely sober. I don't, is that ego death? I don't know. It's the closest I've ever gotten. There's nothing that any substance has ever produced for me.
Well, I feel like
My point was,
yeah. Sorry, continue. No, I just wanted to say that ego death would be like so it's not necessarily related to the content. It's more like just that there's a full diffusion of what you feel yourself to be. That part is gone. There's just the world. That's and nothing needs to be crazy. You can just be in the room. There's just the room. That's just on the ego death point.
so
But yeah.
but then it was beyond ego death. It was like,
Well, no, it's just it's not on the scale of ego death. Yeah, it's not on the scale of ego death. Ego death does not require any pyrotechnics or any craziness to happen. You just the feeling you're here somewhere in the head or in the body somewhere is just gone. There's just the body and the experience, but there's no you. That's what ego death is. But please continue. So
Okay.
what yeah.
Well, that is the end of the story. But my point was that what I was saying was that I think I opened this with I think psychedelic substances are meant to be obsolete, and I said that I think we lost the ability to move through dimensions. And you had a very good point. And I also that point came to me right after I sent the message. I was like, or maybe we never had it. But I would caveat that with, what about what let's say, Buddhist monks like transcendental meditation, stuff like that? I've never experienced that, but like, who's to say that they haven't been doing this? Because it clearly, to me, you can't. Nobody can convince me that didn't happen. It absolutely happened. Yeah.
Wait, what is the,
And real quick,
yeah, please, and then I'll have my own question. So first of all, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Gary.
I appreciate you listening.
I actually do have lots of experience, like 15 years plus worth of meditation and experimenting with all these esoteric traditions. And I've had the craziest experiences I've had were not on, DMT or LSD or anything like that. It was just straight up meditating.
What kind of meditation?
Huh?
What kind of meditation mostly, or just your own kind of version?
Yeah, just mostly, I avoid like sort of like putting a label on it or like having a exact technique to my meditation. Apart from that, I just let go and just settle into pure awareness.
Okay.
And then from that state, it opens up and, takes in everything. And then now it's like a paradigm shift where your perception of everything changes. And so you're in a state where you're sort of like resonating with deeper layers of reality, and it's all just coming to you.
Amazing.
But like I had an ego death where it was just that waking up in the morning, went to the bathroom, coming back to sleep. And I had been meditating a lot during that week. But this morning I just came back to bed. And as I lie down, close my eyes, I see the darkness of my eyelids. And I just had a switch go off. And, I just realized like everything is all really like one thing, it's all connected. And that insight just completely dissolved all my boundaries. And for a moment, I wasn't there. There wasn't anything. It was just all, what you might call the ground state of pure being and awareness.
These are beautiful experiences. I guess the only thing, and I'm fully on board with them being real. The only thing I don't understand is the part about that psychedelics meant to be obsolete. Like you have, like I know for a fact.
Like,
Oh,
eventually.
oh, I see. Well, I mean, if
Not right at this moment, they're doing work right now.
got it.
I think
Okay.
We should and are able to, as a species, get beyond them where we don't need them. I think they serve their purpose.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying
Yeah. No,
that they
I'm
are absolutely right now.
fully on
It's
board with
planned
this.
obsolescence. Planned obsolescence.
Yeah,
think it's
I
planned
would
obsolescence. So that's
absolutely. I would just generalize the statement then. I would say that we will reach a state in which we can transcend form in general. We can just kind of let go of everything that this realm has to offer because we don't need it anymore. This is kind of like the sandbox, and psychedelics is kind of like another physical button we can press to do a thing. But eventually, we will learn how to just do it on command because we chose to. I'm in agreement with that.
I agree, and I also have to say everything you're saying resonates with me so well because I can pinpoint, and I mean, these words are silly and they bring on grandiose, stupid ideas, but I could pinpoint the idea of my the moment of my quote unquote awakening. Like whenever I woke up as a human being, it was like, oh shit, I think I know what's going on now. And that moment was the moment that I had the thought. I was for background and clarity. I was raised extremely Christian. I was very sheltered. No TV, no movies, no video games, no leaving your yard, no friends outside of them. A strict church. Blah blah blah. That didn't make sense to me at a certain point, and I moved away from it. And oh damn it, I lost my point. What was I doing at?
Welcome to the resistance.
Welcome to the resistance is good.
Yeah, that's funny. I can't.
It will come back. It will come back. It will come back. Just let it float free, and it will absolutely come back. It always does. In like a few seconds, it will come back.
Yes, I
Here's
know,
what I'll
but-
say about psychedelics. What I think, at least, is that they're a kind of intervention. Like humans coming together into societies and civilizations and creating technology and this whole thing that's happening, it does something to our minds that we sort of start to disconnect from from the root source. And that disconnect is what makes psychedelics kind of a tool with a lot of utility. As long as we have civilizations and as long as we're going to be doing this stuff where we're participating in the persistent in the emergent complexity, like everything is always building up, evolving, and as long as we're participating in that, that puts us in a certain kind of mode where we experience a disconnect with the source. And so psychedelics are exactly the kind of tool to help us overcome that.
As long as we don't get lost in the tool, and I would agree with that. One thing I will say is that at least if I have to go by what I know, or at least what I've experienced to be possible for me, I'm thick-skulled enough that I know with a lot of certainty that unless I would discover psychedelics, I would never, never in a million years have this conversation with you and not think you're completely nuts. Like that, like I know that my only route
Agreed.
into this was through psychedelics because it opened my understanding that oh, this is not metaphorical. Like this is for real. That for me was the first opening, and then yeah, I would agree that we do want to find a way that is just emanating naturally through us. But I think that we put a lot of boundaries without even realizing it. You know, like even this whole what you just said, Ghost, about us kind of like being separated from the source. I don't think you can. Like I actually, like I said, my impression. I'm not saying that it must mean that I'm right, but my impression is that everything that is happening with technology is actually the salvation in its full glory. It's just that the fear of it is the thing that prevents us from stepping over the final boundary and letting go. So, like everything that arises through us is still part of the divine plan, including all the technologies and all the plastic and all of the stuff that we deem as kind of like bad, right? But all of it in due time will present the function of what it needs to fulfill. One prime example that I like to use because it's an easy one to see. Currently, on Earth, if another cataclysmic event like what wiped the dinosaurs from the face of the Earth, if it's coming, the only thing this time around, the Earth does have a protector: human beings. Human beings are the only ones that can actually prevent that from happening. And guess what? By utilizing everything we've built that we deem as bad, our technology, plastic, like all of these things. And so, does it justify the means with which we achieve this? It's not so much about justification, but just error correction. So, we did it imperfectly and we created a bit of a mess behind us while doing it that created less harmony in the system. But the thing is, we are the kind of thing that is capable of cleaning up its own mess, which is not something that anything else in our corner of the universe can do. We're the only ones that can do this. So yeah, we messed it up a little bit, but we get to clean it up, and we are doing that. We kind of had these realizations, and I think that the reason that we're having these spiritual awakenings now is exactly because this is the only way to have this kind of awareness that we would be able to play on the larger map. So if we are to play these larger games, like going from planet to planet and then star to star and then maybe galaxy to galaxy, the only way to do that can't possibly be just through what we consider to be physical. It would have to have all these other elements not instead of, but intertwined with, like the kinds of technologies we're going to have to build with the pace we're going to have to build them would require much more direct connections to all of these realms. So it's almost like this is a new channel of information opens when we are ready, and it will give rise to the next step of the physical manifestation as it kind of arises at this level. That's at least my vision of what's happening.
Totally, and for all we know,
My point is
the Tibetan monks up in the Himalayas and stuff, they could be the first wave that's holding stuff together on the planet with what they're doing.
Possibly.
And the rest of humanity is going to catch up and become, part of the protection program. Danny, absolutely agree with you.
Well, and to what Scott Williams was saying, like I don't think it's going to become obsolete. Like I feel like Sam Harris said something really nice one time where he said that he feels like these compounds are the baptism for a lot of people, and like Danny said, I think I was too thick-skulled to even be open to anything in this space. So I feel like to take the most stubborn person and baptize them is kind of like that's potentially the utility.
I think lucid dreaming is the main point that I'm getting at. I think that space is occupiable by anybody, but you have to want to be there or trick yourself into getting there.
Interesting.
Take body of something.
What I was going to say, Dan, is that my like I said, my pinpoint moment of awakening, whatever, was the thought entered my mind that what if I, let's say me as a thing, as a consciousness is like a person with a vehicle, like let's say a Toyota Camry, but the only way that I can get somewhere is to drive in the Toyota Camry.
Mm.
If I, outside of the Toyota Camry, I cannot move. I cannot experience anything. What if the only way to be alive is to be locked in a skin suit, basically? Like you have to like constrain yourself to physical reality, and that's where we were talking about earlier, the journey, the not knowing why I'm here. It doesn't really matter. The point is that you're here. The point is that you're moving and doing something. And I won't stay too much longer, but that was the thing that I remember what I was saying. What you're saying, that your understanding is of reality, I feel like that coincides with it. And that was like the moment that I had that thought. I've never been certain since. Because reality, like now, just reality. It's kind of a game. You can call it a game. I like to call it a game. It's an experience. It's a journey. But that's the only thing that there is. We don't know. We'll never know. As far as it looks like, and apparently you're saying maybe God doesn't even know. So
one of my favorite
level of existence doesn't know why it's here. And
what
it's just trying to find out.
Yeah, what if that's the one thing we share with God? One of my one of my favorite moments is when it's very famous, so everybody probably knows this, but it's when Jim Carrey was giving that commencement speech and he was saying life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. How do I know this? I don't, but I'm making noises, and that's what matters. Yeah.
I'm gonna get out of here. Sorry.
Of course.
It's been wonderful talking to you all.
Same here.
Thank you, Danny, for what you're doing. I'm sure I will be talking to you again soon.
Yeah, please come back.
Enjoyed hearing your experience, Scott. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. I'm glad you appreciated it. Everybody here, have a good night. I love you all.
Much love, brother. And I will use this opportunity to also slowly adjourn. Just going to remind everybody that if we have a few more spots, so if you are interested to hear about the retreat in February, it's going to be February 28th in Costa Rica. So if you're interested to hear about this, email me to dangoprox@gmail.com. Again, it's dangoprox@gmail.com. Dangoprox. I'll put it here. And feel free to email me about this, and we can have a conversation. I can tell you more about it. We are, as people asked before, in the final stages of the movie. This is kind of the hardest part, obviously, because we have to finalize everything quickly, and we're working on distribution. So if you do still want to donate to the effort, any donation is received with gratitude. You can find the link to the GoFundMe link to donate under the trailer for the movie called The Discovery. You can find it on my channel. Just go to Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts on YouTube, and search for The Discovery in the trailer and in the description. Or you can just follow the link right here under this live on YouTube right now. And if anybody donates over $1,000, you will automatically be placed on a list of people that would see the movie as a world premiere before anybody else will see it, with Q&A and everything. It's going to be a lot of fun. But any donation is received with gratitude. You guys are going to love this. Aaron Venden, huge shout out to the director. He's just phenomenal. And Chris Paris, our producer, was also editing on the film. Really, they created a masterpiece. And that, by the way, even though the story is kind of interesting, but I have to say that level of mastery that they're bringing to the picture is just like out of this world. Truly, like I'm not just saying that. It's just it blows my mind every time I see a piece. Casey here was actually in our film as well, so thank you, Casey, for always being part of our team and helping move the dial. If you guys want to follow me across different platforms, it's Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram, it's Goller Danny. Just swap them if you're going on X. It's LaserX83 on Twitch, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. And you can also follow my new show on Spotify called 0 to 1 with Danny Goller, from Earthbound Minds to Cosmic Citizens, which has a lot to do with all the stuff we were talking just now, the future of humanity, what it might look like, what it would entail, and what we have to do to make it happen in the best way possible. So again, it's 0 to 1 with Danny Goller. Thank you so much, Evil Icon, on Spotify. Join the membership program on YouTube on Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts. It will give you early access to all my content. Will give you access to our weekly lives for members only, that we dive much deeper into all kinds of topics. It's a lot of fun, and you should join. And if you join from the second tier upwards, make sure you email me to the email listed there so I can send you an invite to the monthly Zoom call. What else? Grab yourself. So I haven't made a list because there's so many announcements. I know it sounds cheesy, but that's what it is now at this point. Grab yourself a merch on YouTube, in the merch store, the core design, Code of Reality, and you have the human first design, which is my personal favorite because it denotes the attitude we should treat each other as human first before any political affiliation, religious conviction, or any ideas you might have about the world. And I think that's a very important thing as we're moving forward, to treat each other as humans first. And I think it's a cool design to rock. So go grab yourself either one of the mugs, one of the shirts, one of the hoodies, or whatever your heart desires. And if you want to know more about the laser stuff, so you can go to codeofreality.com, and you can find the laser stuff and the protocols and everything. And the final thing, go to veilbreak.ai. If you want to share your laser experiments, it'll be veilbreak.ai as it sounds. So veilbreak, one word, .ai. And you can see other people's experiments as well. This is where we collect data about everything it has to do. Let me actually put it like this. Beautiful. There we go. Up. There we go. I'll put it right here. Thank you. Oh, of course. Come join our Discord. Now the links are updated. I'm so excited. Ghost, thank you, brother. maybe your enlightenment helped us here. So you can find the link now officially. You can find the link for our Discord both in my link tree in the description on TikTok, and it works. Woohoo! And also on YouTube on the main page. It's the third link from the top on YouTube, and the first link on the link tree on TikTok. Come join our wonderful community of people sharing all of these ideas. A couple of announcements. I don't know if it's relevant, but I will be starting basically a community there will be a separate thing, and then you can have a lot of practitioners there. You're gonna have a lot of great access, and my Substack is coming very soon, so I'll be announcing when they're going to be coming out. And I gotta find a better way to make all these announcements available. Maybe just put them in the description or something. And let's see, final comments here. Yeah, I know this is such a.
I love the human first shirt, Danny.
Oh, I appreciate.
On the little small tag on the back like that.
Yes, baby. Thank you, brother. Send us a.
That's the way to.
Did you post a picture with you with the shirt?
No, I'm gonna get one. I just look
Okay.
at it now. I love how you just the little tag.
Yeah, I love it. I love it too. I'm actually. I should get one and wear one. You guys will see it. Thank you. I appreciate that. And what else? Oh, want to thank our incredible moderator, Guru. Thank you, brother. You're always such a blessing. Ebony also was dubbed the mother of core because she was the moderator basically from the beginning, since the old community that we had to restart on Discord. So Ebony, we love you and thank you so much, Guru, for always being here, always supporting both on Discord and on YouTube. And thank you so much for all the guests that came. I think that came and shared all of the ideas. I really appreciate you guys, Mr. Maroons, and Casey and Ghost. Gary, thank you, brother. Nico. And what was the name of the other guest? I forget. Scad Williams. There we go. And thank you so much for sharing that wonderful story. And I know this picture, Evil Icon, great to see you here. Grow Your Garden, thank you. And I agree, this picture is really gnarly. Who else is here? MSig, Fla, Unilox, Evil Icon, Grow Your Garden, Sewell, 82, Jet Black, John, Mike A. Thank you, everybody, for coming on Discord. And thank you, everybody who are the listeners across the platforms. If you're on X, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, I appreciate you guys. Without you, this is nothing. This is just me talking to myself, which happens often, but it's not as fun. So I appreciate you guys coming, asking questions, showing interest, debating. Even when we disagree, it's very juicy and it's very fun. So it feels fun to see this thing growing, and I feel deep gratitude for everybody. If you're a new listener, if you're an old listener, thank you for being here and sharing your ideas. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Peace and love, everybody. Have a good night. Ciao. Have a good night, guys.